Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
And what President Mandela was trying to say when he left Robben Island, he said, I'd been incarcerated for 26 years, and I was physically a prisoner, but I was able to find freedom.
Those of us who enjoy every freedom, certainly people living in the Western world enjoy enormous amounts of freedom, that we often do this to ourselves. We become captives to our own thoughts.
Absolutely.
At times.
Yeah. And I know this, from receiving many letters, mostly handwritten letters. They're not typed, they're not emailed, from incarcerated prisoners from literally all around the United States, Canada, Europe, and so forth. And many times I get those letters right around a holiday, like before the Christmas holiday or something like that. And those are times of deep reflection for a lot of people. But imagine now being physically in prison. And I've worked with prisoners, I've worked with inmates in state prisons and so forth, who in many cases will never get out. I mean, they will never have the kind of freedoms that we take for granted. But at the same time, they're learning how to be free within that incarceration. And what that means is that they learn how to be a better person. I know older inmates, for example, who try to coach and mentor younger inmates to try to get them to say, don't become like I've become, try to find some way in which they can find some sense of freedom within their physical incarceration, that they feel that they can do something that's of a positive benefit that's extends beyond themselves, and so they can find that their incarceration was in fact meaningful to them.
You started our interview by saying that every situation has some meaning embodied in it.
Yes, and that's one of the most profound things that Viktor Frankl taught me and everybody else, is that there is a seed of meaning. Again, we don't create it, we look for it, we discover it. If we don't look for it, we're not going to find it. But the idea here is that there are different levels of meaning. There is the ultimate meaning, which has a more spiritual dimension to it. But the idea is when we look for it, and if we recognize that everything around us has meaning, every experience we have, up until our very last breath, and it could be one of the most negative things, but imagine being incarcerated, all right, in Auschwitz. We couldn't imagine that. Imagine some of the horrors that are going on in the Middle East and other parts of the world that we could not fathom how to deal with that. And so to be able to really rely on somebody who's experienced that and it came out of that stronger, who came out of that with a mission that was really a spiritual mission to help others find meaning. I mean, that's what kind of helps drive me. And and I happen to be a veteran of the Vietnam era, and I know that a large part of my enthusiasm for life is really about not just finding meaning for myself, but helping others. Because I've been blessed. I'm alive today. I'm at the age I'm at, and being able to have this interview with you. And so this is the kind of thing that really kind of gives me meaning.
Well, Dr. Alex Pattakos, thank you so much for being with me. This has been a great opportunity to share a world of meaning with you. And of course, the work that we do here on Thinking Aloud is also one, I think, that is imbued with meaning.